Thursday of the month, so we get to catch up with Clinton Mayor Scott Maddasion on today's FYI. Mayor, good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Things are always busy, I would imagine, down at City Hall.
Yeah, always.
Do
But you know what? This is the second best time of the year
Why is that?
because March Madness is the first, and then Masters Week is the second.
Oh, there you go. Are you a golfer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you like?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's always a crapshoot there. But I think there's some different guys that are playing pretty good right now. I watch a lot of golf too, which most people can't watch it on TV, and I like it. I enjoy it. So, yeah, I mean, you never know there because it could be an under par or it could be over par that wins it, you know. So,
But the weather's beautiful there this week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sunshine and 75 today, and temperatures into the 80s for the weekend. So yeah,
should be good. I like Ludwig Oberg. I like watching him play. So hopefully he didn't play. He was at the lead, didn't play well last week, and I'm hoping he comes in and figures it out because I've always enjoyed watching him play. So
it is amazing how far they can hit a golf ball.
It's wild.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they're all just so perfect, and then they do the slow-mo, and they're like, look at this thing. And it's like, well, I can't replicate that, so I just grip it and rip it, see what happens.
I'm not as flexible as I used to be, so I definitely can't do that. So let's get into the city business here. You got a bid out for Bluff?
Yeah, so the bid for the Bluff portion of the Drive to Prosperity project went out just over $20 million for that side of things. It's actually obviously a long stretch there. There's a lot of things to deal with the Bluff and things like that. So that went out. It did end up about $900,000 over budget. Right, that contributed mainly price of diesel and all those types of things are high, right? So Jason was hoping that it wasn't going to be that much of an impact, but it was a little higher than kind of what he expected even, just doing some calculations. So basically what that does is we're not over budget, so to speak, as in, you know, money's going away kind of thing. It's just we'll have to restructure our pavement management plan. Most of that stuff is paid for between the state funds we get for roads and then also bonding, municipal bonds. So we're borrowing to pay for that stuff. So basically what we'll do is we'll restructure our pavement management plan. It'll slow up a couple other projects because we'll have to kind of take some funds from that. But it's not the end of the world. Obviously, this is a big project. We won't have another project like this for another 30 or 40 years, most likely, right? I mean, you think about the large-scale road projects we've done, they're gapped apart pretty far. You know, Liberty Square, when Comanche Avenue, all that got redone to this, we're several years apart. So anyway, unfortunately, it's a little over budget as far as the bid goes, but we'll work through it.
It's always interesting how one thing impacts another, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, everything flows together. There's a few things in the city that don't impact each other necessarily, you know, like the wastewater plant and solid waste, those revenue generating funds that do it on their own. They kind of function independently. They still impact, but, you know, the general fund is the big portion, and, you know, borrowing money and the projects and all stuff is generally from that area. So, yeah, everything kind of works in conjunction with each other. And if you see a large spike in one area, then it affects everywhere else. So,
you know, we were talking before we went on air. There are plans for a couple of roundabouts, one at 14th Street and the other one at the end of Springdale and down around in that area. And I was asking about it because Springdale kind of jogs to get onto 4th Avenue North. How is that all going to play out?
Yeah, so that house we tore down on the corner there, we'll be able to use that land to kind of reconfigure it, and there's a good plan there on how it'll go and in that place. And then obviously realigning that intersection is important. It's actually traveled quite a bit, right? And people like jetting out and then trying to turn left real quick is a safety hazard. It's lucky we don't have more accidents there than we do, right? So this will solve that problem, and it'll kind of make it a little safer. It won't be as skewed, and traffic will flow there nicely. So
now when this is underway, is it going to be a 3-lane where you have the turning lane in the middle? Or
Yep. Okay. Yep, that's what it'll be. It'll be nice. So that little stretch right by Time Out and All Pets and the Today's Dental, that place there, that's what it's going to look like all the way through. Okay. So if you've been on that little stretch, it's nice and wide, plenty of space. That's what you'll see from end to end on that road there. So
much going on. As you said, there's 2 seasons. There's construction season and then there's winter.
Right.
So how's things on 2nd Avenue South?
I don't know the exact timeline, but they're making progress there. Should be done Man, I think it's by September is what they're looking at. Obviously, that's a big project. Sewer separation is something that is under a consent decree from the DNR. We have to separate sanitary and storm sewers, and that is a big area. And then also there's a lot of rock and things in that area that have caused some challenges in that. So delays on that project are not awesome, but we're working there. We're almost to the home stretch getting it done. They just gotta finish getting that pipe in the ground and put her back together. So
how much of that work is actually done by city employees, or do you bid it out?
Nothing for that. That stuff, most of that stuff's all bid out.
Okay.
So our city folks have done a lot of projects over the last, I think Brian Lemke's been there 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. Brian's done a really good job of transitioning some of our folks into doing work that normally would get bid out. So we do a lot of concrete work. I saw him down in front of the trust department at Clinton National Bank repairing a small patch of concrete yesterday when I went down to City Hall. Our city folks were over there doing that, and they were doing a little bit of sidewalk work in front of City Hall there too. So we can handle a lot of stuff like that now. Okay. We have a lot of skilled folks on the staff that are kind of, we're saving money in that manner, right? We're paying for materials, and the folks that are working for us are on their normal wages, right? Which is really good. You think about all that concrete in front of the Clinton pool that just got put in. Our guys and gals did all of that. So it's a nice thing to see that we're able to handle some of these smaller projects and then, save a little money for the taxpayers too.
And visiting with Scott Maddasion on our FYI. I go downtown quite a bit. How are things going with the stoplights now removed in some of those intersections?
I love it. I think it's great. I have not heard any reports from that there's any issues down there at all. I do think there are still some people slowing down and stopping and forgetting that they can just keep going. I've been behind a couple folks that's happened. So I think the traffic's flowing smooth. We haven't had any accidents or any major issues. So I think it was a good decision by council, and then once we get the arms removed and everything, we can get those signs out of there and the flashing signs or whatever that are going. So yeah, I think it was a good plan. Again, we're going to save a little bit of money where traffic controls are expensive. Would have been about $500,000 a piece to replace those. So you think we took two of them out? There's $1 million just in signals. Right, and it's proven that they maybe weren't necessary because traffic's flowing just fine.
Yeah, I was going to say it does result in good traffic flow in the downtown area, and when you do get to the intersections where the lights used to be, I mean, they do have signs up there that said "Proceed with caution." Yet, so
yep. Yeah, and then once we get all the arms down, and that stuff can then go away. But we want to make sure we have ample time to notify people that hey, this is new traffic pattern, I guess you'd say. So
before we take the break for the weather, this just kind of came to my mind. We had Lou in talking about the consignment crawl coming up this weekend and involving not only downtown Clinton, but Lyons as well as across the river in Fulton. As the mayor of Clinton, I mean, we've got Lyons, we've got Clinton, you've got the west end of town. How do you all piece this together?
I mean, I think downtown and Lyons are really easy because they both have organizations that they kind of come together and they work as a team in those locations and they work together on all that stuff. So those are really kind of easy because you know where to go to. West End is more independent, right? It's more just businesses kind of everywhere. So we don't really have any issues or anything like that. I don't hear from a lot of folks on the West End. I hear from Lyons and downtown a lot more, which is fine. And that's good and bad, right? Both things. Some people have some issues that they want taken care of, and some people have good things to say, but all feedback is important. So, yeah, I think it's really easy just because of those two organizations. But the West End, it kind of just operates on its own. They just keep rolling,
Let's take a look at the weather. It is being brought to you by S. Kelly's Design.
Grab an umbrella as you head out the door this morning. We are going to see more clouds, a few showers early, and then we'll see more steady rain arriving later tonight. Temperatures today reaching the upper 60s. Rain and rumbles likely tonight as temperatures fall back into the upper 40s. With your Storm Track 8 weather impact forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Thank you, Andrew. Right now, sunshine, 54 degrees. Our update brought to you by S. Kelly's Design.
Looking for the perfect gift or custom apparel? Visit S. Kelly's Designs at 242 6th Avenue South in Clinton. They specialize in creating one-of-a-kind, custom-made gifts gifts that wow. Want to personalize a t-shirt, hat, cap, koozie, or shirt? They've got you covered. Whether it's for a special occasion or just because, S. Kelly's Designs makes your ideas come to life with quality and style. S. Kelly's Designs, 242 6th Avenue South, Clinton. Follow them on Facebook.
Continue on now today's FYI with Mayor Scott Maddasion. Budget hearing and levy.
Yeah. So Tuesday there'll be the more discussion or budget hearing on the proposed levy. We set the public hearing, or we had a public hearing per the state code last time, so we got to go through the approval process. That's got to be done before the end of the month. So there's a couple more items that we have to do on the budget. And I spoke at the last budget, the public hearing, and talked about us getting the levy down. And had some meetings and really looked at that, but it looks like what we posted is what it's going to be, based on some calculations and some things from the state and what our debt service payments are. So it looks like we are going to have that increase in the levy. When I spoke at the budget hearing, wholeheartedly, I felt like we were going to be about 30 or 40 cents less after going through the budget and the actual budget workshops that we had. But turns out with having the levy for the MTA and a couple other things this year, it looks like where the levy's at is kind of where it's going to be. So it's unfortunate that we're raising the levy. It's the first time that that I've been involved in an increase in levies since I've been mayor, so 6 years. But things are getting more expensive, and insurance and health benefits for employees, all that kind of stuff plays into it. So we're hoping that. I've got some ideas on how to kind of overhaul our debt service and some different things like that. It's going to be a long-term plan. Won't be a effect right away, but working with Nick, our budget director, or finance director, we'll see what we can do going forward. So
I had a news story on the property tax issue out at the Senate, now going to the House. You were talking during the break about, or before we went on air, you got a lobbyist out there. Filling you in.
I'm on the Legislative Policy Committee with the League of Cities, and we're a member of the League of Cities, and they have lobbyists that we work with that are out there advocating for cities, to get a lot of legislators out there don't have city or county experience, so it's important to get our viewpoint in front of them, right, while they're making these decisions. So the plans that are coming out, it could affect us about $800,000 to $1 million in the general fund as a decrease, which is a huge hit. Not sure how we'll cover that, to be honest with you, without reductions of budgets, right? Whether that's expenses or anything else. So hopefully that's not the case. And if they do pass something, I'm optimistic that they won't implement it July 1 of this year. They'll give us a year to plan and implement it next year, July 1. But we'll see. I don't know if all three entities, the House, the Senate, and the governor, have come to an agreement yet. I know there was amendments and a bill passed in the Senate yesterday, but it needs to go to the House for approval. And I don't see them perfectly in line yet, just from what I'm hearing. So we'll see what happens, I guess. They have till May 1, right? That's when they stop getting paid. So usually they wrap up before then. So
you brought up something interesting that many of the legislators out there don't have city government experience, and that's interesting. I would think it could be a possible stepping stone from city government to being a legislator, but not the case.
No, it's not the case. You would think, right? But yeah, there's I don't know the percentage, but there's a large majority that do not have municipal experience, and you can see that in some of the decision making. And I agree with what they're doing. Everybody wants lower property taxes. We all want to pay less and have more, right? That's a fact, and I'm right there with you. It's just sometimes the path to get there is difficult or not attainable, or maybe we, the approach or whatever you want to say. So I understand. I will tell you that we're lucky here. We have, Tom Detterman, who has city and county experience, right. And then Senator Zimmer was in the school systems forever. So, it wasn't a city or a county, but their budget process and their,
because he was more of an administrator.
Right, and how the state legislature affects budgets, he understands that wholeheartedly, right? So I think from our perspective, we do have great representation with experience, but not everywhere is like that. So
again, busy with Scott Maddasion. We're going to be needing a new administrator.
Yeah, so right now we're without a city administrator, and that search process has begun. officially. We posted the job Monday of this week. We had a job description put together, and we posted that. So we're taking applications. We're attempting to do this on our own without hiring a search firm to start. So we're going to see what type of applications we get, and if we get qualified people or not in the short term here. We posted the job the same places most of the search firms are going to post them. We did Indeed, LinkedIn, the League of Cities, where a lot of people are looking, and then the International City County Manager Association. We posted with them, which is where I kind of went out and was looking to find job postings and kind of what that looked like. I've never done this before. So we put a good job description together by kind of searching, and then I also learned where other people were posting their jobs, right? So we're going to see what we can do there. There's going to be a discussion on Tuesday night at the committee of the whole meeting about the search process. Probably there we'll get into some more stuff about how we're going to interview, and things like that. I've talked to an HR firm that I'm hoping that can help us out as far as just helping us do some initial screenings of, are these people qualified? Who's the most qualified? And then maybe even some phone screenings so that we can determine, if this person's in our salary range or if they really are before we bring people in and do all that kind of stuff. Because obviously there's a lot of logistics that are involved with there. And we don't want to interview 10 people that are not qualified, right? We want to make sure we have some good candidates here. So there'll be a lot of discussion on that and the process and what we're looking at there. So more to come Tuesday night from the council, but that's kind of where we're at right now. It's at least out there.
When people are looking for a position, generally they like to move up, not maybe necessarily make a lateral move. So are you looking at city administrators in smaller communities, or maybe looking to take the next step?
Yeah, I think that's probably what we'll see with some applications. Some people that maybe hopefully are already an administrator and have some experience. Yeah, maybe they're at a smaller community that's 5 or 10,000 people, and then they're looking to come up to us because we're about 25,000. So, yeah, I think you'll see some of that. I'm not sure if we won't see people from other states apply. Just talking to some folks around the state where they're searching for administrators. I know I talked to the mayor in Manchester. They just hired someone. And then Piasta and a couple other places. And they got a lot of applicants. Now, they all used a search firm. Those can be upwards of $30,000 or $40,000 to do that, right? So we're going to try to see what we get here in the short term by ourselves and see if we can handle the process. We got a lot of HR pros in this town that hopefully we can enlist some people to come help us out, right, as we're going through the process here. And I think this is the right way to start, at least, in my opinion, but I'm sure others have different idea. But budgets are tight everywhere, right? And if we can save $40,000 and we can find the right person on our own, then why wouldn't we, right? That's my opinion.
No doubt it's going to be an interesting process, on this search. But in the meantime, there is a vacancy. Who's doing some of the responsibilities? So
really, the council really is the administrator right now. So if you look at the code, the Home Rule Charter says that we shall hire a city administrator. That's our form of government, right? And then in our city code and the ordinances, it says if a vacancy is in that position, the council may appoint an interim, right? Because the council obviously has all the power unless they delegate it to the administrator. And when we have a person in the administrator seat, there is a lot of power, so to speak, delegated to them. So my eyes, the council is the administrator right now. So what I've done is I've kind of helped facilitate the groups. I met with the department heads the last 3 weeks. We have done the department head meeting and kind of kept that going. I made sure that they knew, I'm not your boss. I'm still just the mayor. I'm not going to get into the weeds on operations and all that stuff. But it was kind of like hey, if an issue comes up that you normally would have elevated to the city administrator, bring it to me and let's determine, does it need to go to legal counsel? Does it need to go to the city council? Do we need to call a special meeting? And what do we got to do to solve the problem, right? We haven't had anything come up in the last 3 weeks or so that needed to be elevated. Our department heads are awesome, right? And I kind of said to them the first week, I know there's not a actual administrator sitting there, but you're all pros. You're all great at your jobs. you can handle it for a few weeks, right? I mean, it'll be fine. And the only thing we've had is we've run into a couple spending authority issues, like needed to order something, and the finance director is 15,000. He has the highest spending authority outside of the administrator, which is 50. Excuse me. So basically, in those situations, is an emergency. Well, not really. All right. Put it on the council meeting on April 14th, and council can do it. We'll get it approved, and we'll go on. You're just going to have to hold up a week or two from what you normally would do, right? So, yeah, I mean, we're running just fine. And like I said, our department heads are awesome. They've had a lot of questions. I've kind of helped ease them, and then I've just kind of facilitated between the council and the department heads too. Like a lot of times, council members would go to the administrator for questions or things like that. A lot of them have come to me, so I'll kind of go back and talk to the department head and get the answers. I expect that's the process that will happen next week before the council meeting as well. When the agenda comes out Friday, the council usually have questions, so hopefully they can throw them at me. I'll get them the answers, if they need something before the meeting. Otherwise, the department heads and myself will be primed and ready on Tuesday night to answer questions of anything on the agenda. We went through it yesterday as a group, so yeah, I mean, I think we're flowing just fine. So I'm not the acting administrator or the interim, but I'm certainly doing what I think is best for the city, right? And that's to make sure that everything's running properly, and then just be a problem solver. Something comes up, we'll solve the problem, and then we'll go from there. But, it is a little tough because there's decision-making authority is not on me, right? So if something did come up, we'd have to, do that special meeting or something like that. But so far, it's been business as usual. So.
As always, we appreciate your time. Wrapping up, you've mentioned the council there numerous times. It's kind of a new look council. You've got basically 3 new members, and then my brother Pat.
Yeah.
But how are things?
Sometimes I think he's new. No, I'm kidding.
So how are things going?
Yeah, things are going good. It's this council has a different passion and a different priority than the past council, which you would expect, right? Mm-hmm. Different people come in, their focus is in different ideas, different things. So you're going to see some different conversations and stuff like that happening coming over the next few. I know we have probably like 5 or 6 topics that some of the council members, the newer ones, that want to talk about. So we're going to start seeing those at the committee of the whole as we're going through. I kind of was like, let's do them like one at a time. Let's not bite off too much right at the start, right? So we're going to start seeing some of those conversations go, and they're not major things, kind of minor things that they want to look at. So, but yeah, it's going good, and we'll plug through, and then hopefully when we get a new administrator, we'll probably do a big group strategy session, planning session too. I mean, we did strategic planning last year, but I would expect when a new administrator comes in, we would want to meet all as a group and say, hey, here's where we're at. This is where we want to go, and then give that person a lot of good direction as they get started. Because I'm sure starting that job it's a lot. Coming into a city of our size with all the stuff we have going on, and we have a lot of departments, a lot of people, a lot of employees. So.
Could be overwhelming, I would imagine.
I would think so. I mean, it's been, I've learned a lot in the last couple of weeks, even some things, like I've been doing this 6 years, but I've learned some things of how things flow and how kind of the administrator does certain things that I guess just overlooked because it's not something you're doing every day, So.
Hey, as always, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, no problem.